Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Gyaneshwari Bhagavad Gita, commentary of Bhagavad Gita by Gyaneshwar Maharaj, a young saint of 12-13 years who gave this commentary on Bhagavad Gita to all sections of the society. In front of him, the great Pandits were there, the warriors were there, the farmers were there, the cobblers were there. Every section of the society was represented, and he was speaking in the local language of that time, which is not the modern Marathi but the old one, and therefore, on one hand, the commentary that he is giving is deep and highly logical and highly logical and following the diktats of doing justice to the words of the Lord Shri Krishna, and at the same time explaining those various principles to the common man through the common examples that the common man sees in his day-to-day life. And that is the greatness of this commentary. Whereas Adi Shankaracharya's commentary is very deep and meaningful, logical, but following the Sanskrit, and it's a hair-splitting and deep explanation. But here, Gyaneshwar Maharaj, those who have been hearing it for last 6-7 years, now we are almost to its conclusion. So we are in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We are doing 56th verse, and the verse says, what does the verse say? 56th verse, yes. 56th verse says, Sarva karmanyapi sada kurvano madavyapashrayah mat prasadadavapnoti shashvatam padam avyayam. He says, through performing all work, taking refuge in me, the seeker, the one who wants to know the truth, the one who wants contentment, the one who wants peace, tranquility in his life, and that is only possible by knowing the self, he wins through my grace. And here Bhagwan Shri Krishna, the Lord Shri Krishna, he is taking the position of the absolute. From his point of view, there is no, okay, let's conclude, the eternal immutable state. Through my grace, the eternal immutable state, which is constant, which never becomes more or less, which is all pervasive. Who can say this? Only one who is established in that state can make that statement. It is not a statement of arrogance. It is not a statement coming off the hat, making a statement just to prove a point and, but no experience behind. Lord Krishna is not in that manner. He is many places in this text. He has taken the position of many places. He comes from the point of absolute. Some places he comes from the point of totality, and he keeps flipping when he is making a particular point. He took the point of the totality, the Ishvara, only when, and what is that Ishvara? The total principle. And he did that only in from chapter 7 till chapter 12. Thereafter, he took himself to be the eternal witness, but a witness is also witnessing something, which is something or nothing, which was the 13th chapter. And thereafter, as whatever the corruption in the mind is, that was sorted out, and eventually we have come to, he takes the position of the infinite absolute, and therefore he says, and he knows clearly that he is everywhere. So if he is everywhere means he is in your body also, mind also, thoughts also, and in your heart also, and he alone is expressing as the self. So in other words, will it be wrong to say that you are not other than the infinite, immutable reality? No. But do you know it? No. He knows it, therefore he is speaking that way. We have seen on Sunday mornings where Gyaneshwari Maharaj, he is established in the truth, and his teacher asks him, write your experience of realization, and he says, what can I say? It is incommunicable, and yet because it's the order of his teacher, he puts it, and he uses the language in such a manner that no conclusion is left behind. Isn't it? So this is the way it is, and we have to grow ourselves and to grow to be that. To be that, what is the first place? Don't think that you are going to contemplate and know the truth. Don't think that you are a great devotee and then come to know the truth. Truth, you have to, devotee of the Lord. If you know the Lord and come to know the Lord, all you are going to is the totality, not the absolute. Listen to the myths about self-realization. It will open up your wrong ideas about self-realization. It was a thrilling topic. I took it as a challenge. I had never thought about it in the way I explained, and it was really, it became very clear also for me. Also, it became very clear that yes, it is like that only. So maja, enjoy. So here he says, through performing all work, taking refuge in me. Taking refuge in me. Yes, last week we explained to you that all activity is happening. But we idiots are saying we are doing the activity, and we become the doer of activity. When you become the doer of activity, it becomes karma. When there is karma, there is karma phala. When there is action, action means there is, I told you last week the difference between action and activity. Activity also leaves a result. Every activity will give a result. Every action will give a result. But every action gives a result. How does it give a result? As an impression in your mind, because there is a doer behind. Activity gives a result. No result, no memory behind. And last week I gave you the examples of how our eyes are, we think that I am seeing. Eyes are seeing, that's it. They are not attached to anything. The nose is not attached to the breath. The senses are not attached to the stimuli. They are allowing the stimuli to come and go. The mind is also allowing the thoughts to come and go. It is not attached to the mind, attached to the thoughts. Who is this idiot who is attached to the thoughts? Because activity happens at three places. What are the three places? Tell someone. Where is the activity taking place? Anyone?
Manasa, Kaya, Vacha.
Manasa, Vacha, Kaya. Na, Manasa, Vacha, Kaya or Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. Others fail. Shailendra pass in the exam. Impromptu exam. So, so activity means movement. Where is it taking place? At the body level. Where is it taking place? Yes, it is happening at the breath level also. Where else? Speech is activity and the thoughts are activity. Are you creating the activity or it is happening by itself?
Happening by itself.
Yes. But if you think that now I have to take shower, then I'll be clean, which means you have taken ownership of the activity. I have to study in order to realize. I have to do meditation to be with myself. Stupid. Are you not already with yourself? Just get out of the way. Get the doer out of the way. And we don't know how to get the doer out of the way. So Bhagavan says, while doing activity, take refuge in me. Just like, I'll give you an example. A mother is working in the kitchen or cleaning the house or knitting or doing whatever is required to be done at home, or she's at office. But every day at 3 o'clock, the child reaches home and gives a call to the mum in the office. Mum, I am home. Today, she doesn't get a call. Why? He is enjoying on the, he's skating in the skating ring and he forgot that he has to call the mum. Mum is still working, but where is her mind? Continuously on the child. So, is it possible for one to do two jobs at the same time? What two jobs? You can do multitask. You are all multitaskers. So this is a good example where you are doing what is required to be done at work in your office, but one part of your mind is focused on your child who has not called yet. It's continuously hankering you from inside. Why has she not called? And you're working away. Now, where is your attention? Is your attention on work or is your attention on the child? Same way. Perform your actions, let the actions take place in your daily life, but one part of your mind must be on that constant principle, the unchanging principle, the illuminating principle, the witnessing principle, the observer principle that you essentially are. See? Who is making this hand work, hold, move? Who is making these eyes see, hear, touch, feel, taste? Who is making the nose breathe? Who is making the mind think? Who is the one who knows the waking, dream and deep sleep are coming and going on a daily basis from childhood till today? Who is that me? Give attention to that. Why? If not, take the name of the Lord. Who is that principle? Through the performing all works, take refuge in me. And such a person, what happens to him? What is the result he gets? He wins through my grace. When he does this, he sees that the beginning of the activity, in the beginning, because we are doers of action, so at the beginning of activity, we are remembering the divine, or we are sitting in the poise, we are sitting in the self, and we are watching that the activity has begun, the activity is maintained, the activity has concluded. Many times we do it, isn't it? See? So watch, be poised in the self, remain the witness, remain the conscious principle. The thoughts, you don't think thoughts, thoughts come to your mind. You don't breathe, breathing is happening. You don't scratch yourself, automatically without thinking the hand goes to the bum and starts scratching like a monkey. You watch. Instead of saying, I am scratching, I am breathing, I am thinking, I am talking, I am listening, get the I out. You be the constant one. In my presence, these activities are taking place. This is what the meaning of this is. Gyaneshwari Maharaj, we saw that then the Lord said, O great warrior, the karma yogi or krama yogi thus becomes one with me through single-minded devotion and merges in me. Isn't it true? You think of sleep every night, you become one with sleep. You think of food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, you become one with food. All activities take you there. You want to get married, you become one with the woman or the man. So whatever you think, you become one. Choose wisely. Phaso mat kahin pe. Don't get caught up in wrong things, because what you think is what you will get. So if you are thinking, if you are poised in yourself, here he is saying to Arjuna that with single-minded devotion, when his mind, instead of thinking about the world, when you think about the world, what happens? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate. When you think of any object, space-time of objectivity in of the world, then if it is conducive, you desire. When you desire, it leads to corruption of the mind, and the story goes on. It's that ladder of fall is given in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. See. So when we are thinking about the Lord, when we are thinking about the grace, when we are thinking about the gratefulness that the divine has bestowed upon us to be available to the words of the Bhagavad Gita, of the Upanishads, where we were born, where we are today, and sitting on a daily basis on the Zoom or live, listening to the divine words of the scriptures of the Lord, different contemplations. Could you have done it all this yourself? Or is it some higher hand at play to bring about these events in your life? Just like someone told someone, and that someone told you, and then that you. Now, many days you did not decide to listen, and today you decided to listen. Like yesterday, someone was yesterday we asked someone, please come over to that place for satsang. They didn't come. Why? Swamiji, please excuse me. I said, you are excused. Why? No, yes, the God has come to Australia. What is the God? State of origin match. That is God for them. What is that called? Rugby. I don't know if it was final or first match or final match. I don't know. But that is God on earth. That's their choice. We have to decide where we are. We have to decide where we want to go. We have to decide who we are in essence. So here he says that through single-minded devotion, and when we continuously think of single-minded means when we think of, contemplate on one to the exclusion of everything else. That is single-pointedness. See? Yesterday, good example came, not here, in some class. The phone is like our mind. When you take the phone, you put the camera on or video on or photo on, what is it showing? What does it show? It shows the whole world, isn't it? And if you keep clicking, what is clicking? The various aspects of the world, forms of the world, the emotions of people, everything is getting clicked and stored in the camera. Right? Is that your experience? Yes. Now be like me. Make it a selfie. So when the camera is selfie, where is it looking? Am I looking? Camera cannot function by itself. Mind cannot function by itself, in the sense that some life must be present, isn't it? Just like car cannot function by itself, you need a driver. Camera cannot function by itself. It is for someone. It is. But the moment I turn the selfie camera on, now the phone, it is not capturing the world. It is, I am getting reflected in the camera. Our mind should be like this selfie camera. Our mind should be like this. Is it possible for the phone's calls to come? Yes. Is it possible for it to play the music? Yes. Everything is possible. But we have chosen for it to be in the selfie mode. Are we in the selfie mode while we are acting in life, while we are moving through life? That selfie mode. What are you looking at? That self, the conscious self, the constant self. So when the camera is clicking, am I getting clicked? I am the constant one. I am not coming and going. There are multiple frames in the, when I download it onto the YouTube and when I am editing it, there are multiple frames that come of a video. Am I a multiple frame or am I a continuous one? Even as a body, I feel I am continuous, isn't it? But when you go to the mind, continuous, thought after thought after thought after thought after thought after thought. Body is also thought, breath is also thought, senses are also thought, world is also thought. Everything that you know or you don't know is only a thought. But are you a thought? Or are you the witness of the thought? When we lose this plot, then we get identified with the thought and we become a thinker. Then we become the desirer. Then we become the seer, toucher, feeler, taster, etc., etc. So bring one part of our attention, like that lady in the office thinking about her child. Bring one part of your attention always, continuously. That urgency must be there. If she doesn't get the call by 3:30, she will do whatever. Who cares for the job? No, you cannot go. I don't care about the, give a hoot to the job. She'll resign and go. When the urgency is there to be the self, when it arises. Right now we are too Thai food, then sandwich, and then something. Too many things to experience in this world. But when that urgency, it's okay, but remain aware of that. And as you remain aware of that, it will keep calling you back again and again. Just like every day, without you wanting, the sleep calls you to it, isn't it? You don't create sleep. Sleep calls you, you start thinking about it. You don't create hunger. Hunger comes and you start thinking about it. You don't create bladder pressure. Bladder pressure comes, then you start thinking, I have to go to the toilet. Similarly, sleep comes. Similarly, the inward. You think about it, a point will come where automatically it will start calling you from inside. Meaning, it will pull the attention of the mind towards itself. When it pulls the attention of the mind to itself, it doesn't happen anywhere. It happens at the Anahat Chakra, after Anahat Chakra. After the heart chakra, this thing happens. He worships me thoroughly with pure flowers in the form of the performance of duty and attains through my grace to the dedication of knowledge. So, work done as an offering. When we go to the temple, we offer donation. When we go to the temple, we offer archana. When we go to the temple, we take some flowers, we offer. When we go to the temple, we take shower, we wear the best clothes, we are looking most beautiful, adorned with all the jewels and everything. We are at our best when we go to the temple. Same way, what is this beauty? Our mind has to be beautiful, only then it will, be graced. And what is the beauty of the mind? Purification. Coming from many thoughts to one thought. What is that one thought? I am that which I am seeking. Or Om Namah Shivaya, or Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, or just Om. See? And all the activity that is taking place, you are doing it in that poise, then that activity doesn't become binding. Then that activity doesn't produce more activity. Then purpose of work, purpose of karma is only one. It is not to achieve anything in this world. If done in the right manner, work purifies. Karma purifies. And when does it purify? When you do it in this manner. When you are in the poise of the self watching, or even if you are the doer, perform before activities, see that it is without this grace, the activity cannot begin. Who is the prompter of the activity? Who is the maintainer? Who is in whose presence this activity is concluding and the next one begins? And where does the activity? In the mind, as thoughts is the activity. In the mouth is the speech. And at the body is the action. These are the three places that activity is taking place. You can add breath also to it, otherwise mind will keep thinking, why did he not use breath? But technically it is only these three places. Because you don't breathe. Breathing is already happening. You don't say, I am the breather. Have you ever said from childhood till today? No. You say, I am the thinker, I am the speaker, I am the doer. You say that, but you don't say, I am the breather. They are continuing. With the attainment of this dedication of knowledge, his devotion to me flourishes and becomes blessed through complete unity with me. What is knowledge? Knowledge is not thought knowledge. Knowledge is not knowledge of the world. Knowledge is not knowledge of memories. Knowledge is not knowledge of the scriptures. Knowledge is the essential nature. That is the knowledge we are talking about. So here when he says, so when he becomes, with the attainment of this dedication of knowledge, his mind is continuously in poise, unshaken attention, contemplation of the self. His just like unshaken and inner calling. I tell you, go to sleep now. Swamiji, don't worry. We are already sleeping. But you are not sleeping. But because you have lived your day if you have lived your day with gusto, living every moment fully, then as the night comes, as the lecture finishes, if you have eaten the food, good. If not, you will eat. Then afterwards, automatically the sleep will pull you to the bed. The sleep will pull the attention of your mind. Similarly, the self will pull the attention of the mind. Now it does not allow the mind to dwell in the variety of the world. And that is when, so this is not sleep, this is waking sleep. You are awake and the mind is becoming empty of the world and you are focused on the mind is thinking of the self which is unthinkable. This is another wonderfulness. And his devotion to me flourishes. What is that devotion? He has total faith. In that faith, he is thinking of the divine principle as the self or as the God, whichever way you take it. And he becomes blessed through complete unity, just as your mind merges into the sleep and becomes one with sleep. Similarly, this seeker, this person, he thinks of the self and is one with the self, or one with the divine, one with the Lord. Complete unity with me. He follows me, knowing me as one who illumines the whole world. So here he is still I'm taking the word self again. Here the Lord in this particular instance, he is taking the position of the Ishvara. He follows me means his mind is continuously following. Now you tell me, how many pilgrimages we must have gone, how many scriptures we must have read, how many meditations we must have done, how many chantings some of you have been doing with me. Your whole week, every day you are listening, every day you are chanting, every day you are praying, every day you are on your own, must be studying something, listening to something. Isn't it? What are you doing by doing? You are following the divine. But don't get multi-pointed. Become single-pointed. If studies of scriptures is not making us single-pointed, drop them. If chanting the name of the Lord is not making your mind single-pointed, drop the name of the Lord. You are not qualified at that moment. Then what to do? Go dig the garden and again make it plain. Again dig the garden, again make it plain. No, that's too much. Okay, clean the car again and again. or vacuum the house again and again. Do something physical. See? He follows me, knowing me as one who illuminates the whole world. So, who is illuminating the whole world? The sun is illuminating the world as we know it, isn't it? Who is illuminating the sun? The eyes are illuminating the sun. Who knows that there are eyes illuminating the sun, which is illuminating the world, earth? Oh, the mind. Ah, very intelligent. Who knows that there is a mind? I. Be that. So you mean to say that the whole world is illumined by I? Absolutely correct. No doubt. But Bhagwan is saying that he is the one who is illuminating. Yeah, there is no he knows that there is no difference between him and you. If you have a doubt, what can you do? What can we do? Discover the unity. The space inside the house and the space outside the house. Is it two? Or the space in your house and my house and her house and his house and the house outside? Is it different? It's the same space. Imagining itself to be, because it is identified with the conditionings, with the walls. Space cannot think that way, but you can think. So where is your attention? Your attention is on the conditionings. What are the conditionings? Body, breath, mind, intellect. How long will they remain valid? As long as you do not become single pointed on the divine. How long does the world remain valid on a daily sense? As long as your mind does not become single pointed on sleep. When you merge into sleep, where are the forms? Where are the conditionings? Where are the limitations? Nothing, isn't it? Exactly the same way we have to bring about consciously. And don't think that we have to bring about. It happens only by grace. It happens by grace, and that Lord Krishna and the self within that I am, you said they are one and the same, then I become of the nature of grace. Is that blasphemy? Papam, I am committing sin. That live as that. Those who have recognized that, they are called saints and sages. Those who are not recognized and only are thinking, oh, Papam, I have to atone for this, thinking like this, then suffer. See? He follows me, knowing me as one who illuminates the whole world after pervading it. Just as the water is pervading all the oceans, meaning all the gods, totality, all the waves, all the individuals. When you are touching the wave, tasting the wave, feeling the wave, you are accessing water. You are not accessing wave. You are not accessing ocean. You are accessing water. You are touching water. You are feeling water. You are tasting water. But in our ignorance, we call it a wave. We call it a ocean. So when you are touching, so what is a wave then? Just a form imposed on the water. What is this? A form imposed on the consciousness. Why? Out of ignorance. Out of ignorance. Then how do I remove the ignorance? Exactly these steps which we have just taken. Purify. Don't purify thinking I am purifying. Perform wherever life has placed you with inspiration, 100% inspiration, wherever life has placed you. But be poised in the divine grace. That divine grace alone is in the beginning, during, and after. Purification will happen. As purification happens, the inner pull will keep happening. And eventually it will lead to merging. That merging is called as unity. Is there actually merging if the divine is everywhere all the time? No. If divine is he's there right now also. Yes. Are you experiencing it? No. So this idea, this language, this communication is happening for your mind, which has not yet realized that there is only one expressing as many. Not only expressing as many, expressing through many. He is the one alone is the material cause, one alone is the creator, efficient cause. And that I am. You have not realized that. Till then, keep bellowifying the papad. Lage raho. He follows me, knowing me as one who illuminates the whole world after pervading it. So, the conscious principle alone pervades the whole world. Way to look at it, because we are in 18th chapter, so I am discussing it in this detail. What is the difference between mind and the self, the Atman? What is the difference or commonality between the two? Someone?
Thoughts.
Huh?
Attachment to thoughts.
What? No, this is incomplete answer.
Both are consciousness.
Good. Both are consciousness. That is the commonality. Now, what is the difference?
One is transient.
What is the difference between the two? This is the commonality
One is
that
thoughts
both.
and the other is not.
What? Say that again.
One is attached to the thoughts and the other one is not.
Is the water attached to the thoughts, to the waves? No. Mind is not attached. I just told you before. The mind is just there. It's a container in which thoughts are coming and going. Thoughts are coming and going. It is not attached to thoughts.
Mind is ever changing.
One and many, Swami.
What you told me, my question was, what is the commonality and the difference between consciousness and mind, a pure consciousness and mind? So you said commonality was both are consciousness. One is infinite consciousness, one is, but the nature of both is consciousness. Right?
Yes, Swami.
So, if both are of the nature of consciousness, now why do we see or feel that we are different from the mind, or we have to know the self? Why is this then?
Mind has many forms or many thoughts. It's many, and consciousness is one or single pointed, or it's one existing.
Consciousness is not single pointed. Consciousness is always consciousness. It does not think.
Consciousness is constant.
Good. Someone said here, consciousness, the Atman, the reality, the pure self is always constant. And what is mind? Which is also of the nature of consciousness, but it is not, what is it? Not constant. By way of what? By way of thoughts. Now that Shailendra's answer fits here. By way of thought. It's a flux. Mind is a flux. Flux in pure consciousness is called mind. Mind without the flux, when it comes to silence, it is pure consciousness. You understand? or lost?
Yes, yes.
Ah.
Yes, Swamiji, it's good. Thank you.
No, thank yourself.
Oh,
I have been saying this bloody for last 10 years, 20 years. But it's a good reminder, no? Again and again.
yes, Swamiji. Yeah.
Yes. So when here everything is one, then where's the position of the mind? Position of the mind is now mind is also nothing but consciousness with movement. Wave is nothing but water with movement. Where is
Swami, you can ask.
wait, let me complete the thought. Where is the movement? In the mind
In the
as
mind.
thought, in the speech as
Sound.
language or sound, and in the body as activity. Withdraw or be aware of that principle, of that consciousness on whom this activity at three levels, gross, subtle and causal, or gross, subtle and subtler, is taking place. Now ask.
Swamiji, one question. Is it not that the mind of your consciousness is identified as mind only because of its ownership of thoughts, or on the platform on which the thoughts bounce or pass through and gets attached to it?
Initially we say that. When did we say? In the beginning, 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter.
Yes.
We are in 18th chapter.
No, what
And
I'm
in
saying
18th
is,
and in 18th and in 18th chapter, mind is not attached to anything. Because
what I'm
mind,
saying is the consciousness recognized by the word, say, mind, or to identify for a conversation to be called as mind, it's only the second part is born as a name mind or a concept mind only due to those thoughts appearing on it and taking ownership?
correct.
Or is it something else?
Correct. There another word for that mind is silent mind, isn't it? So what is your experience of the mind? Your experience of the mind is manifested mind, which is with thoughts, and unmanifest mind, which is no thoughts, isn't
No
it?
thoughts.
That
Yes.
is your total day.
Yes.
These are the waking dream is the manifest mind, deep sleep is the unmanifest mind.
Unmanifest. Yes.
In deep sleep, you are one with yourself, but do you know it? That's why I'm again and again taking the example of deep sleep. If you can get into deep sleep without sleeping, you are with yourself.
Yes.
Because we are not with ourselves at this very moment also. So where is the corruption? So what can I do? It says, bring your attention of the mind to the constant principle. As it keeps thinking of the constant principle, somewhere, sometime, by the grace, it will merge. Then what will be the nature of the mind? It is one with the constant principle.
Thank you.
And then what will happen? Then what is told here? It is told here that knowing me as one who illuminates the whole world. Once the mind has merged, just like every night your mind merges into sleep, what happens next day? You tell me. Then we'll equate it to meditation. What happens when the mind merges into sleep and again manifests next morning? What happens?
Fresh, Swami.
It is fresh. It is rested. It is rejuvenated. It has got the oomph to again slog for the rest of the day, isn't it? But if you don't sleep, you will be exhausted. You will be a good for nothing. Now imagine just the sleep which is out of ignorance. You went back to yourself, but you didn't know. Still, you were rejuvenated and re-inspired to act the next day. When consciously you go back to yourself, when the mind consciously merges into its own source, It's just the word, huh? The wave merges back into water. Stupid, it is already water. But when your attention is on the form, it is, the wave is there. See, it is merging now. It's vanished. Why? Your attention was on the form. But for a smart person, whether the wave has merged or not merged, it is still water. This is what some seekers are able to recognize. Some people want meditation and then they want to then they recognize. See? So when the mind, now I'm using the word mind, unites with its essence, then what happens? The mind is pervaded by that divine. And when the mind again manifests, because the nature of the mind is flux, it can never remain continuously what it has united with. Just like mind can never remain always sleepy. It will wake up. It is its nature. So when it wakes up, now the mind is divinized and mind becomes manifest, then the whole creation is in the mind alone. Such a person sees the whole creation as as expression of the divine, meaning expression, I alone am, full stop. There you go. Just as salt takes recourse to water and forsakes its hardness, or the wind blowing in the sky rests without motion. Ramakrishna Paramahams, Bhagwan Ramakrishna Paramahams used to give this story, that the salt doll jumped into the ocean to discover the depth of the ocean. Like the mind is seeking its source, the self. The salt doll jumped into the ocean. What will happen? The doll shape dissolves and that salt becomes one with the entire ocean or the entire waters. So what has happened to the doll? It lost its form and it has become with the absolute form, which is formlessness. Isn't it? Exactly the same thing happens when you go to sleep also. You are not aware of your body. You are not aware of your breath. You are not aware of any thought. Same thing happens when the mind merges into the self, comes back to its source. We don't need to use this language that the mind came back to the source, because mind is made up of that material only, the self. But just for example's sake, just following the theme, taking the example that Gyaneshwari Maharaj has taken and just expanding it, just as the salt water, which was a crystallized salt form, jumps into the ocean, becomes one with the entire ocean. Exactly the same way, mind, which is a crystallized consciousness, individuality is crystallized consciousness. I am an individual, you are an individual, you are an individual. Why? Because this consciousness has, I am only this body, crystallized. I was born at this time, crystallized. My Kundali is this, the astrological chart. I am a Capricorn, I am a Aries, I am a this, crystallized. I am only so many years old, crystallized. I only occupy so much space, crystallized, space-time objectivity. So when it starts seeking the source, the crystallization starts melting away, meaning the forms start melting away, meaning form is only known by way of thoughts. Thoughts start melting away, dissolving away, they become sublimated. Just like when the sun rises, darkness cannot remain. Similarly, as the mind remains in tune with the essence and is thinking about it, yes, it is thinking, but as it is thinking, all other thoughts, thought itself is a form, don't forget, because it's born, it remains, and it goes. The form melts. As the thoughts melt, the whole world as you know it does not have any credence in your mind, does not have any validity in your mind. Don't go to sleep, that's all. That is the problem. Or here the second example is taken, just as the wind blowing in the sky rests without motion, the wind is continuously blowing. How do we know the wind is blowing? We can feel it. The beard goes this way, the beard goes that way. But many times the beard remains the same. It doesn't go this way, that way. The leaves don't go this way, that way. There's absolute stillness. But you're still breathing, even though there is absolute stillness of the breeze. You're still breathing. But there is absolute stillness. Outside. When this stillness is at the body level, when this stillness comes about at the breath level, when this stillness comes about at the thought level, for some time, I recognize, and it is happening between after every thought, that stillness is there. After every thought, that stillness is there. After every breath, the stillness is there. After in-breath, the stillness is there. After out-breath, the stillness is there. When the eyes blink, the stillness is there. You have to catch it. You have to be it. You have to be it.
Swamiji.
Just as, is that more important or this is more important?
You said more.
The wind blowing in the sky rests without motion. So he resorts to me. The Lord is saying, so such a seeker resorts to me and comes to that silence, comes to that rest. As a result of dissolution of his that crystallized personality, it dissolves completely and he comes to rest. So he resorts to me. How does he resort to me? How does he think of me? By way of body, speech and mind. So he does everything in the world, thinking the whole world is nothing but that divine. He speaks only the divine name. He thinks only of the divine. This is what the verse was saying, isn't it? Sarva karmanyapi sada kurvano mad avyapashraya. Ashraya. By thought, word and deed, he is taking the refuge only of the divine. Continuing. So this was till 1250. Now we read the Marathi part. After Taisa buddhi vacha kaye जो माते आश्रऊ निठाए तो निषिद्धे ही विपाये कर्मे करू परी गंगे च्या संबंधी विधी आणि महानदी ये कतेवी माझ्या बोधी शुभाशुभांसी का बावने आणि धुरे हा निवाडू तवची सरे जवन घेपती वैश्वानरे कवळूनी दोन्ही नापाचिके आणि सोळे हे सोनया तवची आले आंग मेळे एकवटीना तैसे शुभ अशुभ ऐसे हे तम विचवरी आभासे जव ये कुन प्रकाशे सर्वत्र मी. Everywhere I am. What is that? He says, so he resorts to me with body, speech and mind. If perchance he does any prohibited act after the attainment of knowledge, all actions, good or bad, become of a piece with me, in the same way as the dirty street water and river water both become merged in the Ganges. You take Ganges in the Himalayas. Some of you have come with me. When we have collected the water from Gomukh, the origin of Gangaji, it is absolutely pure. You take the Gangaji water from Haridwar. By that time, after those few thousand kilometers, so many drains have poured into it. So many chemicals have poured into it. But you take that water of Gangaji from Varanasi and bring it home. The quality of the Ganga water at Varanasi or the quality of water at Gomukh is exactly the same. It does not smell, it does not putrefy, it's absolutely fresh. All the water, maybe the fresh streams and streams of drain, dirty water, sewage water. This is drinkable, this is not drinkable. This is clean, this is dirty. But once they become merged into the Gangaji, the clean water also becomes holy. Dirty water, sewage water also becomes holy. Not from the modern scientist's point of view, but it becomes holy. Everything is Gangaji alone. Exactly the same way. The distinction, another example he takes, the distinction between sandalwood and other smoky wood lasts only until they are consumed by fire. So when we do Havan, we take the amra, meaning the mango twigs, the sandalwood twigs, and other 5-6 different types of woods are taken. Each has a different distinction, but once it is gone into the fire, what do you see? Only fire. Distinctions vanish. All of them become ash and you get fire. That's another second example. Then the distinction between gold and its alloy lasts only so long as they do not come into contact with the philosopher's stone. This is the philosopher's stone. Anything the philosopher's stone touches turns into gold. So all the other metals, as long as they are independently existing, this is brass, this is copper, this is titanium, this is that. But when it touches the philosopher's stone, everything is gold. Similarly, in the mind, I am a father, I am a brother, I am a sister, I am a son. But when you come to the man is the constant. All the roles are not constant. Then I am the gross body, I am the vital air body, I am the mental body, I am the intellectual body, I am the Anandamaya Kosh. But when you come to the Atma, everything is you alone. See? All differences vanish. This is what I was explaining to you, that when the mind comes in what is the corruption in the mind? At a base level, from a seeker's point of view, corruption is multi-pointedness, multiple thoughts. When he makes his mind, orients his mind with single-pointed attention towards the source, merges the mind into the source, or the mind gets absorbed. It's not that you are merging it, it gets absorbed because you're thinking about it. When it gets absorbed in the Lord or it gets absorbed in the self, The mind is completely divinized. Just like all the dirty drains and the freshwater drains, freshwater creeks, all become Gangaji. Now the mind is divinized. The one whose mind is divinized in this manner, such a person is called saint and a sage. That possibility is there in each one of us. That is the purpose of human birth. Our pastime is, आज चाइनीज खाएंगे, आज थाई खाएंगे, आज ये खाएंगे, आज वो खाएंगे. We'll go to see Top Gun. Latest. In the same way, the distinction between auspicious and inauspicious things lasts so long as they are not pervaded by my light. The thoughts, there are good thoughts, there are bad thoughts. The Bhagavad Gita chapter says, I can't remember which one, 16th or 17th. It says the Daivi Sampatti and Asurik Sampatti. Daivi Sampatti is the divine thoughts in your mind, and Asurik Sampatti is the inert thoughts in your mind, thinking about the inert world. But both is mind, and mind is nothing but consciousness. The gentle wave and the tsunami, both are waters. So here, auspicious and inauspicious. As long as you maintain this difference of auspiciousness and auspiciousness, individuality is still maintained. We have to transcend the auspiciousness and inauspiciousness. Don't look for omens. Because I went to the temple, everything is happening in my life. Because I did Satyanarayan Puja, everything auspicious is happening. Because I attended the satsang today, I had a good sleep. Aja? Because I attended satsang and because I did japa today, I had dream. The Lord came in my mind in the dream. Get out of cause and effect. Get out of this is auspicious, that is not auspicious. I get out of the house, I see a crow. Arre baapre, my whole day is going to go bad. You go out of the house, the cat crosses your road. Arre baapre, it crossed. The cat is saying, bloody hell, every day this fellow crosses my way. Whom do I complain to? He is very inauspicious. I don't get a rat every time I see him. Get out of this auspiciousness and inauspiciousness. From sun's point of view, for us, auspicious is the day, inauspicious is the night. From sun's point of view, there is nothing called day and there is nothing called night. From the self point of view, there is nothing called waking, dream and deep sleep. From the self point of view. We'll just read 5 more verses and then conclude. Here he says, what is it? Agaratri ani divo hatavasi dvaita bhavo zavana rigize gavo gabhastica manavni mazhiya bheti tayachi sarva karme kiriti zauni baise to pati सायुज्याच्या देशे काळे स्वभावे वेंचूजया न संभवे ते पद माझे पावे अविनाशतो किंबहुना पंडुसुता मज आत्मयाची प्रसन्नता लाहे तेने न पविजता लाभू कवणू असे. He says, Gyaneshwari Maharaj says, O Partha, he is speaking, giving the commentary on what the Lord must be saying. O Partha, so long as one does not, Partha is another name for Arjuna, so long as one does not enter the region of the sun, the distinction between night and day is felt. Exactly the Automatically your thoughts take you to those examples. I didn't read it. Huh? So long as one does not enter the region of the sun, the distinction between the night and day is felt. So when he meets me, all his actions disappear. Action can be done only by an actor. A husband is husband only if there is a wife. No wife, you come back to being the original. What is that? Independent man. Stress independent. Same way, in sleep, there is no reference of body, there is no reference of the world, there is no reference of breath, there is no reference of senses, there is no reference of mind. Who are you? Nobody. That is why it is called sleep. If you remain awake, when there is no reference, there you are. So when he meets me, all his actions disappear. Again, remember actions, mind, speech, and body. This is where the actions take place. They all disappear, just as they disappear in sleep, but under the spell of ignorance. In samadhi, all actions disappear. Temporarily, you are conscious, but when you wake up, because you didn't go into the samadhi with proper orientation, so when you come out, again the world is there, again the wife is there, again the children are there, again the survival is there. But when you go the way Bhagavad Gita is teaching you, when you do go back to yourself, the way the Upanishads are guiding you, then there is no samadhi. Then there is no samadhi. Samadhi is just another state. For us, samadhi is a state of meditation, and when I come out of meditation, oh my God, I want to go back to meditation. It's an escape from this activity of the world. Samadhi also becomes an enjoyable experience. But that samadhi also comes and goes. What do we want? Wherever we were in samadhi, we want that 24/7. For that, some new rules of engagement have to be done, and those are the rules which the Lord is telling you in this verse. So when he meets me, all his actions disappear and he attains the state of unity with me. Means mind goes back to being the pure consciousness. Consciousness with thoughts is called mind. Mind without thoughts is pure consciousness. Mind minus thoughts is not equal to sleep. Grasp that. But you have practiced it for so many lifetimes. Even if you are alert, it will take you. It requires great focus. And it requires grace. Most of all. So when he meets me, with all his actions disappear and he attains the state of unity with me. He attains to that eternal state which does not get wasted through time, place and nature, meaning objectivity. So what did I say? The mind gets washed. Mind gets pervaded, because mind without thoughts was consciousness, and you are conscious. You are not gone to sleep, you are conscious. Now the mind is pervaded. It is rejuvenated. And when it again becomes activated, because its nature is unmanifestation, manifestation. But we allowed the mind to unmanifest with correct understanding, with correct knowledge. We allowed it to manifest as a result of the divine, the self, the Lord within, because the mind was thinking about it, and that divine's grace made the mind unmanifest. We didn't become the mind did not become unmanifest because it was tired. Mind did not become unmanifest because it has got nothing to do. Mind did not become manifest by its own free will. Mind became unmanifest by way of surrender. Surrender requires the availability of mind to the higher, to the constant principle, to the divine principle. So now we are not initiating it, the divinity is pulling it. Divinity is pulling it. The choice is always with us. Is this iPhone outwards or it is inwards? Is it capturing the world or is it giving you a selfie all the time? The mind. Zara sochiye. English, please think. Please contemplate. And get out of the way. He attains to that eternal state which does not get wasted through time, place, and nature. And once the mind is completely divinized, we see in great masters, they are also having a body, they are also seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, they are also waking, dreaming, sleeping. You are seeing that. But what is the disposition of the great master, of realized masters? How is their mind functioning? Their mind is full of light. There is no owner there. There is no owner there. The eyes see, but the seer is not born. The ears hear, but the hearer is not born. Experience happens, but the experiencer is not born. The waking happens, the waker is not born. The dream happens, if it happens, dreamer is not born. Sleep happens, sleeper is not born. Why? He has transcended all the... What is his vision? I alone am. How does he know I alone am? Without a thought. It is his being. People are seeing the individual Mahatma. But he is seeing unified consciousness. If this doesn't inspire us, go back to ABCD. He attains to that eternal state which does not get wasted through time, place, and objectivity or nature. O Arjuna, what merit would he not gain after being blessed with the serenity of myself? What merit? We always want to do something for collecting good merit. This is the ultimate. Punya. This is the ultimate good. This is called Nishreyas. There is Shreyas, there is Preyas. Preyas is lower good. Lower good is that you do in this world. Preyas is when you do think of the higher. And Nishreyas is you are transcended the good and the lower good. Just like there is joy, there is sorrow. Joy is opposite of sorrow. Sorrow is opposite of joy. Bliss. Bliss is transcendental to joy and sorrow. That bliss is this divine. That bliss is Sri Krishna. That bliss is the self. Once you come to be that, which you are already, question is, we are not recognizing. So, what is the obstacle in between? The mind. We have to dissolve it. We have to properly orient it. And how? This verse tells us. And he's saying refuge. When you take refuge, means yoga kshemam vahamyaham. In one of the chapters it came, Lord says, you surrender. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Ye jana paryupasate. Tesham nityaviyuktanam. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Whatever, we are only lost in what do I need to, what I need more. I don't have this. Oh, what is nowadays, what is the latest going on? Oh, everyone is buying a Tesla. Everyone is buying a hybrid. Everyone is buying a electric vehicle. I don't have it. I don't have it. I have to book one. I have to book one. Yoga. Wanting that which you don't have is yoga. What are you wanting here? Union with the divine. Stupid, you are already the divine, but you don't know it. So, theek hai. When we surrender to the Lord, we contemplate on the divine within, the union will automatically come. He says, I'll give you what is required. And I'll protect whatever you have. And what is that protection? You are divine. You will remain divine thereafter. These are just few inspiring verses towards the conclusion to prompt Arjuna to do the right thing. He is in the middle of the warring armies. We are in the middle of the two armies. Should I do this or should I do that? Should I be the man or should I be the husband? Should I be the wife or should I be the woman? Should I be the waker or should I work? Oh, I'm feeling sleepy, but I have to work. If I don't work, I don't get money. If I don't get money, how do I put food on table? How do I pay the bills? But I'm feeling sleepy. Continuous, we are at war with ourselves. When we come home, the war is, I cooked, you wash. I put the washing machine, you dry it. I put the clips, you take the clothes out. Everything is a calculation. Remain in that, you are digging your own grave. Get out of it. Not one day, right now. Thinking in this manner, contemplating in this manner on the constant principle, the divine principle, the God principle, whichever way, whatever name you want to give it, the consciousness that you essentially are. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Just a reminder, Saturday night class is going to be on Sunday night. Sunday morning meditation and morning class will not be there because 9 o'clock I am catching the flight. So I can't take the class. So this Sunday there will be no morning class. Holiday. Enjoy. Bye-bye.